Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Vrajadana Randana Yashodanandana Vrajadana Randana Yamunatira Vanatari Yamunatira Vanatari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Vrajadana Randana Yashodanandana Vrajadana Randana Yamunatira Vanatari Yamunatira Vanatari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Krishna Vararam Krishna Vararam Krishna Vararam Jaya Krishna Vararam Krishna Vararam Krishna Vararam Vararam Jaya Krishna Vararam Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Shama Sundara Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Shama Sundara Krishna Hari Bol 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Gurudev Gurudev हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरु महाराज श्री कृपाल जय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4, Text 20. एवं ऐश्वर्यमतस्य दृप्तस्योच्छास्त्रवर्तिनः कालमोहान्व्यतीयाय ब्रह्मशापम् उपेयुषः। एवं ऐश्वर्यमतस्य दृप्तस्योच्छास्त्रवर्तिनः कालमोहान्व्यतीयाय ब्रह्मशापम् उपेयुषः। Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai. Hiranyakashipu thus passed a long time being very much proud of his opulences and transgressing the laws and regulations mentioned in the authoritative Shastras. He was therefore subjected to a course by the four Kumaras, who were great Brahmanas. There have been many instances in which demons, after achieving material opulences, have become extremely proud, so much so that they have transgressed the laws and regulations given in the authoritative Shastras. Hiranyakashipu acted in this way, as stated in Bhagavatam 16:23. Yashastramidimostrijya vartate kamakarata na sasidhimavapnoti na sukham na paramgatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. The word Shastra refers to that which controls our activities. We cannot violate or transgress the laws and regulative principles mentioned in the Shastras. Bhagavad-gita repeatedly confirms this. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastito jnatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum ihar asi. One should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Bhagavad-gita 16:24. One should act according to the direction of the Shastra, but the material energy is so powerful that as soon as one becomes materially opulent, he begins to transgress the Shastric laws. As soon as one transgresses the laws of Shastra, he immediately enters into the path of destruction. Omagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Sakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Samrupagadamaham Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Savana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padani Savana Lalita Sri Sakhani Chamsam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please unmute yourself. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please unmute yourself.
अनम्यूट कीजिए प्रभु जी.
विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So please bless me so that I can speak something on this verse. I feel utterly unqualified for the discussion. So this chapter says, this title of the chapter, how Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the whole universe. So he is the first terrorist in the material world. So and his generations are now also, his parampara is also going on. Evam aishyajamatashya duptasya shastravartinam kara mahandati yaya brahma sapam ubayita. Hiranyakashipu thus passed a long time being very much proud of his opulences and transgressing the laws and regulations mentioned in the authoritative Shastras. He was therefore subjected to a curse by the four Kumaras who were great Brahmanas. So Prabhupada in the purport gives what is the importance of following the Shastric injunctions and what is the consequence of not following the Shastric injunctions. So Shastras are given directly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharma Sakhyat Bhagavat Pranitam. So one has to follow, we are supposed to follow the Shastric principles. As the Lord himself has said in Bhagavad Gita, Jasastram vidhi muschulcha vartate kamkarata. So one who disregards the Shastric principles and acts whimsically, vartate kamakarata, for his sense gratification or his own enjoyment, nasa siddhim avapnoti, na sukham na paramgati. So he neither achieves perfection, siddhim, na sukham, happiness, and na paramgati, no supreme destination. So if we want to even live happily, we should follow the Shastric principles. What to speak of achieving the supreme destination. So, and if we want to have certain siddhis or perfections, then also we have to follow the Shastric rules and regulations. Na siddhim avapnati, na sukham, na paramgati. So sukham, siddhim, and paramgati. These are dependent on following the Shastras. So what Shastra says, so there are certain do's and don'ts. What are to be done and what are not to be done. So that's why it starts with yama, then niyama, like that in Ashtanga Yoga. So yama is what are not to be done, not to be performed. So these are very important. And what are to be performed. So, and Srila Prabhupada summarizes that the Shastric principles, if we follow the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit affairs. So it is following these scriptures. That means following these principles, one comes to the human platform, to the human being. So otherwise, if one is not following yama, then he is not in the human platform. He may be having 2 hands, 2 legs, like that, a human-like person or human-appearing person, but he is not in the human platform. So that's why Prabhupada says the 4 regulative principles of freedom. So regulative principles, these regulative principles are there to distinguish us from the animals or lower species. Otherwise, we may be appearing like human beings, but we are not so. So Shastric principles are to be followed for our own benefit. If you are not following the Shastric principles, then we are condemned. So we degrade ourselves. Okay, because these are given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada quotes another verse also, Tasma Shastra Pramanam te Karya Vyavasthito Gyanta Shastra Vidhanaktam Karma Kartum Irhasi. One should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. So, how to know that what is my duty, what is not duty? These are given in the Shastras according to one's Varna and Ashrama. These duties are prescribed. Duties are already prescribed. So, what is to be done? What is the duty of a Brahmana? What is the duty of a Kshatriya? What is the duty of a Vaishya and Sudra, like that? And also in ashramas, what the duty of a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa, all these things are mentioned in the scriptures. So one should know the duty. One should understand what is the duty and what is not the duty, and follow them. So that will, knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may be gradually elevated. So elevation to higher consciousness. Higher consciousness depends, so elevation to higher consciousness depends upon following the rules. That's why Prabhupada first put the rules. Of course, he started with purifying the living entities by feeding the prasadam, chanting. So holy names, he gave first holy name, then prasadam, so purification, then ask them to follow the regulative principles. So that elevates our consciousness. Because, so out of the 5 types of consciousness, this sunken consciousness, covered consciousness, then budding consciousness, blooming consciousness, and fully blown consciousness. So, achadita, sankuchita, achadita, sankuchita chetana, achadita chetana, then mukurita, vikasita, purna vikasita. So these 5 types of consciousness, and purna vikasita chetana, that is Krishna consciousness. So that is the highest consciousness one can have in this human form of life. So for the human beings, actually we take birth with budding consciousness, mukurita consciousness. So as a human being is there, he has this budding consciousness. But it remains budding throughout his life if one is not following the rules and regulations of the scriptures. So that's why, so he is actually as good as just a bird. Before becoming a flower, it dies. So what is the benefit? Similarly, we have achieved this human form of life, the human body, and if we die with that body consciousness, then that is actually a loss. It's not beneficial, neither beneficial to oneself and not to others. So you see, what is the benefit? What is the advantage given in the human form of life? We can transgress, or we can elevate. We can actually elevate ourselves from body consciousness to blooming consciousness to fully bloomed consciousness. 3 levels of consciousness we can transgress in one lifetime. But whereas to come from the sunken consciousness to covered consciousness, one has to pass 80 lakh species of life. 80 lakhs species of life. So because there are 84 lakhs total species of life. So we come to human form of life after transmigrating through these 80 lower species of life, like aquatics, birds, animals, insects, like that. All this, okay, all this consciousness. So they are having what? They are having lower consciousness, like shrunken consciousness and covered consciousness. But as soon as we take birth as a human body, with a human body, we are having body consciousness. In one body, one lifetime, there is opportunity to elevate, go from body consciousness to blooming consciousness to fully bloomed consciousness. So that means we can do what is not possible, what was not possible in transmigrating through 80 lakh species of life, 80 lakh species of life. How much time is that gone and how much we have suffered, you can imagine. Now that opportunity is possible, even beyond that. So we are crossing from body consciousness to blooming consciousness. So Mukurita, then Vikashita to Purna Vikashita consciousness. So that is possible in one lifetime. If we can do, we can follow the Shastric injunctions, Shastra rules, regulations, then we can achieve such a great thing which was not possible in many lifetimes, many lifetimes. Actually, we have undergone through so many lives, 80 lakh species of life. Then we are coming to 4 lakh species are human beings. Now you can imagine how come 4 lakh human beings. So these are based on consciousness, because you can see, imagine there are persons so abnormal persons, you cannot imagine what they are eating. Like go to Taiwan, go to China and other places, you can see, you can so you can realize their level of consciousness. Even if they are in the human form of body, their consciousness is so degraded, so low. So we cannot imagine actually. That's why. So there are 4 lakhs human beings that mean based on consciousness. And we can actually transcend through from body consciousness to blooming consciousness to fully bloomed consciousness. That is possible in human life. Okay. So that is one point which Prabhupada has stressed in this verse. So the point is that Hiranyakashipu, as soon as he got the blessings, the boon from Brahma, he became very popped up, very popped up. Because as soon as you get some opulence, some material perfection, some material progress, then one becomes naturally puffed up. That is already mentioned by Kunti Maharani in her prayer in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter. Janmasharya Sruta Srivi Yadamana Madha Uman Naiva Naivarth Avidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So she says, my dear Lord, your lordships can easily be approached by only those who are materially exhausted. Those who are my Akinchanam Gocharam. Akinchana. Akinchana means who is not having any material opulence. Akinchana. Kanchana is gold, so not having any material opulence. Akinchana. Tam Akinchana Gocharam. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage. So there are 4 things he is mentioning: Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Srivi. High parentage, great opulences, high education, and high bodily beauty. So cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So that is the most important thing. So approaching Lord with sincere feeling is required. Sometimes in our devotional service, we find so many obstacles. This problem, that problem, this problem, so many problems, bodily problem, society problem, outside problem, friends problem, family problem, so many problems. And we see when we'll get the time so that I can practice devotional service very peacefully. But that peaceful practice of devotional service is not the sincere feeling. Because if everything is okay, so we are chanting, we are this, we are getting time, all these things, but that is not done with sincere feeling. That praying, so that helplessness condition is required. So, oh my Lord, I have nobody else than you, so you can only help me. So this kind of feeling cannot come if we have so many things with us. Janma Aishwarya Shruti Sivi. So if people are around us to help, and if I have a bank balance, if all these things are there, and bodily beauty is there, people are liking, okay, and position is there, society position, or even in the spiritual leader positions, like so many things. Thus, these are actually hindrances in our devotional service. So practicing devotional service with sincere feeling will not arise if we have so much this thing of these material things. So Queen Kunti is nicely playing, and Prabhupada gives very, very nice purport to that verse. So I just read from there one paragraph. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly, O Govinda, O Krishna. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potential. But there is a quality to such utterances also. So quality, we are talking about quality of utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially propped up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. So therefore, the 4 principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive bodily beauty, are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. So this is what Prabhupada says, that feelingly we cannot utter the holy name of the Lord if we have all such things. And whenever these situations are, Lord is trying to make our progress very rapid by giving situations so that one will feel that what is the situations I am going through? Very, very difficult. So how to practice? Even I'm not able to get time for chanting 6 rounds. So like that situation. Then the struggling. So we are struggling to complete rounds, struggling to read Srimad Bhagavatam, struggling to read Bhagavad Gita, struggling to complete the prescribed sadhana. So that struggling stage is the best actually for a sadhaka. So if we are always struggling, then that is the best, because that time we completely depend on the Lord. So in utter feeling we can pray. And if all the situations are good, that means it is a fair weather devotee. So we'll practice devotional service if everything is all right, and the situation becomes little bit upset or not in favorable to us, then we'll not do. So that is called this fair weather devotee. So devotees should be ready to take to practice devotional service in any condition, any circumstances. See, so the Hiranyakashipu became so puffed up by material opulences and all this strength. He got the boon from Brahma that he will not die by any particular type of person, or in the day and night, all these things boons he got. So it becomes so puffed up. So when one gets power, actually we can see the real image of that person. So that's why he said that power corrupts. So if you want to know the real the person's what is the intention, or what is the reality behind this person, or if you want to know him perfectly, then he gives some power and position. So in that power and position, if he's there, then his real thing will come out. So that's why he said the power corrupts. So this austerity done by Hiranyakashipu without proper guidance, that sometimes we may become so austere. We may take to some austerity which is not prescribed by Srila Prabhupada, or sometimes we read many other scriptures and then we may become puffed up and we may think that we know so much thing. So that is actually, these are weeds in devotional service. So along with the real body, so many weeds come, and that eventually actually devour or not allow the real plant to grow. Similarly, so these are puja, lava, pratishtha. These are hindrance in our devotional practice. So when we practice austerity without any guidance, like Hiranyakashipu, so he was not practicing devotional service under some guidance. So holistically practicing, and he could achieve, of course, because he severely practiced devotional, not devotional, austerity. And sometimes austerity done without right intention. Without right intention, that also is devastating. So some austerity we do without right intention. So Hiranyakashipu was doing austerity so that he becomes so powerful that he can control everybody. So without right intention and without right guidance, if austerity is done, so that is our that may be the cause of our fall down. So always, that's why devotees actually, we don't follow many things which are there in the scriptures, but whatever Prabhupada has given to us, so that suffices. That is actually, because Acharya, so we are under the guidance of the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. So whatever he has prescribed to us, if we follow this, many times devotees see that what others are doing, and they may take to that practice also. But that should be done under guidance. If his guru is allowing, if under guidance he is doing, that's okay. But without any proper guidance, if one is performing austerities, so that may lead to some kind of pride in the heart, and that may be the cause of our fall down. So it's very, very important to practice devotional service always under guidance. So anugata, bhakti is to practice always under guidance. Otherwise, aikantika harer bhakti utpatava kalpate. Aikantika harer bhakti, even the Hari bhakti may be a disturbance. Aikantika, if we practice like Hiranyakashipu. Shruti Smriti Purananti Pancharatrika Vadhivina Aikantika Harer Bhakti Utpata Eva Kalpate. That. So what is that? Shruti Smriti Purananti. So that means all Shruti Smriti Purana, they say that Tad Vigyanartham Sa Gurumeva Abhigachet Samitpani Srutriyam Sambrahmanishtam. So one has to approach a spiritual master, and under him one has to practice. So that is what it is. Shruti Smriti Puranandri Pancharatrika Vidhi. So this is Vidhi. So we are safe if we are under guidance. And as soon as there is no more, nobody else is there above me, and then there is a danger actually. So we should always seek advice and feel ourselves humble that I don't know many things. So only devotees or Guru Krishna. Mercy is my only solace. So this kind of feeling should be there. Then we can actually practice devotional service in a proper mood. Otherwise, it will create havoc. It will create disturbance in other spiritual life. So one life, one spiritual life will be disturbed, and we can disturb others' devotional service also if we are not practicing under proper guidance. So I'd like to stop here before opening the floor for discussion. So I have one question regarding this verse only before anybody asks. So if we can resolve this issue, somebody can help. Because in this verse, it is said that Hiranyakashipu thus passed a long time being very much proud of his opulences and transgressing the laws and regulations mentioned in the authoritative Shastras. Then the second line says, he was therefore subjected to a curse by the four Kumaras who were great Brahmanas. Because what you understand is, before Hiranyakashipu's this birth, so when he was the doorkeeper, Hiranyaka doorkeepers, Ajay, Vijay, that time only they were cursed. So now here in this verse it is mentioned, he was therefore subjected to a curse. That it appears that when he transgressed all the rules and regulations, he was cursed. It appears like that. So how to resolve this? If anybody, any devotee in Maharaj can clarify my query, it will be good. So that's why I did not touch upon that point.
Shyamchandra Prabhu raised his hand. Let us hear.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Shyamchandra Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Haripad Prabhu. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Very nice class. Jai Shri Sripad Maharaj, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So the way to, is my limited understanding, the way to reconcile this is that the curse is pronounced in the previous life. Okay. Now the effect of the curse is taking shape. Now, many a times the effect can be, nullified or minimized by through proper actions, and in that the proper action is to follow the scriptures and the guidelines as prescribed, in Manusmriti. Now, in this case, on one hand, the curse is already pronounced in the previous life. So, what my understanding is, when Srila Prabhupada mentions that therefore they are subjected to the curse, it means the results of that curse, are fructifying now because of Hiranyakashipu's reluctance to follow the scriptures, and because he is also, abusing the scriptures, and because he is, completely disregarding the scriptures, rules, regulations, and everything. So now that curse will fully fructify, and that will be acting upon him. That is what I understood actually, because otherwise it's a genuine question. I asked this question to myself just when the class started, and then this is the answer I got from internally. But of course, there are more knowledgeable people. They can, give more light to this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for. But this is also good understanding. So others, Maharaj can throw lights on this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I am very, very sorry. I am very, very ignorant.
No.
If you are referring to me, but if our His Holiness Bhaktisar Govind Maharaj is there, we can hear. I am not seeing Maharaj.
So he's not there.
Maharaj is not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nilambar Maharaj is there.
Nilambar Maharaj ji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat. Your audio is not proper.
हरे कृष्णा महाराज जी, आपका आवाज ठीक से नहीं आ रहा है।
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
अभी थोड़ा बेटर है।
हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ महाराज जी।
हाँ, अभी आ रहा है।
हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ महाराज जी, ठीक है।
तो वास्तविक ये
हरिपाद प्रभु, आपका वीडियो थोड़ी देर ऑफ कीजिए
हम लोग
जब तक उनको नहीं होगा।
तो इसमें वर्णन है कि ब्रह्मा जी से जब उन्होंने वर प्राप्त किया, उन्होंने ये भी वर मांग लिया कि कोई सिद्धाचारण, कोई ब्रह्मर्षि, कोई ऋषि मुनि, किसी का भी अभिशाप मेरे ऊपर लागू ना हो। तो इसी कारण उनके ऊपर कोई सप्त ऋषि, जैसे बेन महाराज का उदाहरण दिए। बेन महाराज तो भृगु मुनि के अभिशाप से नष्ट हो गए, लेकिन हिरण्यकशिपु के ऊपर किसी का भी अभिशाप काम नहीं कर रहा था। लेकिन जब वो अपना पुत्र वैष्णव पुत्र के पास अपराध किए तो भगवान स्वयं उनको संहार किए। ऐसा ही तो। हरे कृष्णा।
महाराज, वो जो 4 कुमार उनको जो अभिशाप दिए थे, उनका वो बोल रहे कि ही इज सब्जेक्टेड टू द कर्स ऑफ 4 कुमाराज। वही बात समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, तो श्यामचंद्र को कुछ बताए तो आप अगर उसमें बताएंगे तो।
ये 4 कुमार जो अभिशाप दिया है, तो अभिशाप नहीं है, क्योंकि भगवान का भक्तों के ऊपर कोई अभिशाप काम नहीं कर रहा है।
हरे कृष्णा महाराज जी, इधर लिखा हुआ है। हाँ महाराज जी।
हाँ,
ये परपोर्ट में ऐसा है, हिरण्यकशिपु अभी इस व्यवस्था में है, उसका ऊपर अभी अभिशाप का ये आ रहा है, ऐसा लिखा था। वो अभिशाप पहले हुआ या अभी इस स्थिति में उसका अभिशाप हुआ, वो सा डाउट है हमारा हरिपाद प्रभु का।
यदि अभिशाप लिखे हैं, लेकिन वास्तविक ये तो अभिशाप नहीं है, ये तो उन्होंने ग्रहण किए, ये भगवान का आशीर्वाद है। ये जैसे हम लोग विदुर के पूर्व जन्म की कथा हम देखें तो मंडूक ऋषि ने उनको अभिशाप दिए, तुम जाओ शूद्र बन जाओ, तो यमराज ग्रहण किए। उन्होंने जानते हैं ये सब भगवान का लीला है, भगवान का लीला में हम लोग शामिल होना है। तो इसी कारण ये जो द्वारपाल भी, जय विजय भी, ये भी जब हम लोग देखे देवता लोग सभी का मन की बात को समझ पा रहे, तो ये द्वारपाल जो भगवान का नित्य पार्षद है, ये लोग के लिए क्या तकलीफ है? भगवान का लीला को ग्रहण कर लिए, उनको अभिशाप। क्योंकि प्रभुपाद महाराज बहुत जगह में उदाहरण देते हैं, जैसे डॉक्टर लोग बीमारी लोग का दिया हुआ सारे तकलीफ उन्होंने, जैसे कोई थूक देता है मुख को, कोई थप्पड़ भी मार देता है डॉक्टर को गुस्सा से, तभी डॉक्टर वो सब सहन कर लेता है। तो वैसा ही ये जो भगवान का द्वारपाल लोग है, वो लोग सहन कर लिए, तार कुमार को आशीर्वाद किए हैं वो लोग। ये लोग का आशीर्वाद, ये लोग जो तार कुमार का अभिशाप क्या काम करेगा? लिखे हैं अभिशाप, मतलब अभिशाप नहीं है, वो लोग ग्रहण किए हैं। ये दृष्टि है। जैसे तृतीय स्कंद हम लोग पढ़ेंगे तो लिया है
हरे कृष्णा हमारा जी, आपका आवाज फिर चला गया।
मंडूक ऋषि यदि आकर के यमराज को अभिशाप दे रहे हैं और बोल रहे हैं कि तुम बच्चे लोग के ऊपर ये नियम नहीं है, मैं बचपन में ऐसा पाप काम किया था, लेकिन मेरा अज्ञान था अवस्था में, तो वही किया हुआ पाप को तुम कैसे काउंटिंग किया? हाँ, हरे कृष्णा। तो ये हिसाब से
आई थिंक महाराज डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए।
यस प्रभु जी।
बृहस्पति महाराज कुछ some light.
Very difficult to understand. Subjected to means he is now subjected. What Shamchandra Prabhu told looks somewhat, but is there anywhere in the scripture any other description, more description about Char Kumaras again coming into contact? That we have no idea. I have no idea. So very little. Whatever boon one may get or from anyone, but as soon as he troubles, so far he has not come to the Prahlad ka issues abhi tak aaya nahi.
Yes, yes.
महाराज जी मैं हरे कृष्णा।
Yes.
Yeah, Maharaj, here it is said he was therefore subjected to a curse, and the duration is very long in his material enjoyment. I think that is the connection. Maybe I am wrong also.
Yeah. Our Shamchandra Prabhu's answer looks good. I mean, looks. Of course, we have the only answer. We don't have any other answer so far. So here it says, transgressing the authoritative shastras, you are subjected. You are subjected now, no? Curse by, therefore subject to a curse by the four Kumaras. So it could mean both things. four Kumaras again gave a curse, or the curse which they gave that time, he is now subject to that curse, because when we deviate from the scriptures, and that time it will come into effect. And the greatest instruction of the Shastra is Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittate Kariyai. This is the sum and bonum of all the instructions of the scriptures. So now he is not in a mood to listen to anybody. Yeah, so conclusion is that no answer from my side. Conclusion is I don't know. Yes. So anyone has anything, we can other you can. It is not that we will understand everything.
Yes.
We should also not insist understanding everything. We should, as much as comes, we should be happy and move forward. And at some point it will be clear. Krishna will clear it. And some things may not be required to be cleared in our journey, depending on, sometime it will be cleared, but we don't need to worry. If something we don't understand, a little thing is okay sometimes. If we cannot resolve it, we can keep it aside, and we can follow the Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. These are samam and bonam. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru. So this we continue, and in due course of time everything else will be resolved, or we may not be bothered so much with some of the things which are not clear, which may not be sometimes too important. Everything is important. When we don't understand something, we can wait for some time until it gets resolved. So, okay, our Balram Prabhuji, I think he raised his hand. Maybe the time has arrived. Let us listen.
Yes, yes.
Can you unmute Balram Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, Dhanavad Pranam. So I am very small, I cannot resolve.
No one is small.
But anyway, I'll tell my views.
Paramatma is inside. Paramatma can give answer to anybody.
So this is, I mean, I didn't hear also the full class. I was in the other class.
Prabhuji's
But I
question
mean,
is, here in this purport it says,
yes, sir.
in this purport it says, Hiranyakashipu is transgressed the regulations of scripture. That's why he is subjected to the curse of the four Kumaras. But we don't have any account of four Kumaras giving curse now. There is only curse they were given at the time of when they are entering the Vaikuntha. So what is the meaning of this statement?
Yes, I understood.
Okay, good.
So this is a nice example of detailing the spiritual world. I mean, where Jaya Vijaya was there, and this material world, because he was cursed by the four Kumaras, he has to come away from Krishna. And although this material opulences he has, I mean, this is not he didn't get a curse that he will not have any opulence. He only was cursed that he will not stay there in the spiritual world. I mean, in this sentence, I feel that the curse starts to fructify what was given by the four Kumaras, starting from now, because once he got all the material opulences and got the because of the boon from Brahma, now he starts misusing that, and then the curse was given by the four Kumaras that starts to fructify now. This way, I mean, the material opulences that he has, actually we feel that these are I mean, he is enjoying, but these are not the enjoyment. Actual enjoyment is missing in the spiritual world. So in this way, the connection is basically the course that was given by the four Kumaras that starts to result from now, starts to give the result from the, this position. That's why it is, I don't know could you show me that sentence again, Prabhuji? Did you get something? What I want to say?
That is the same thing our Shyam Chandra Prabhu said. Please go through it. Meanwhile, we'll go to our Madhur Krishna Prabhuji. He is also he has a lot of wisdom, but he is very silent. True sage. Madhur Krishna Prabhuji.
Please unmute. Hare Krishna, Madhur Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, all good Guru Maharaj. Yeah. So when was Hiranyakashipu cursed? Right, when he actually disobeyed the laws of the scriptures or the injunctions of the scriptures. That's the question, right? Whether it was before he got the curse from four Kumaras or now.
Yeah, what is this statement referring to? Is there any other?
There could be one perspective, Maharaj. This perspective is between the Lord and the Vaishnavas. Okay, when it comes to the question of serving the Vaishnavas or obeying the Vaishnavas, the Lord comes next actually. So as per the scriptures, you are supposed to serve the Vaishnavas or obey the Vaishnavas. So the four Kumaras, when they came and when they were not respected, this is a one perspective I'm just saying. So that is kind of not following the scriptural injunctions. Okay, so that is how they got cursed. You know, the Jaya and Vijaya got the curse because they offended the Vaishnavas. So Vaishnava aparad is Tumar sthane aparade nahi paritran. You know, Hari sthane aparade Tara harinam Tumar sthane aparade nahi paritran. So here it is put that Vaishnava aparad is placed more than Hari aparad at the lotus feet of the Lord. So that is why that is the scripture injunction. The scriptural injunction is that you should never commit Vaishnava aparad. But here he committed Vaishnava aparad, therefore he was cursed. This is my understanding, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Any other questions?
Maharaj,
Prabhuji, you got something more after reading?
Yeah, this is I just add one point. I mean, the time has come. The time has come for Hiranyakashipu to go back. That's why all this happening.
Hare Krishna. Okay, no problem. We live with the wisdom we got today, and this won't be the last time we'll be reading this class and hearing this verse. It will not be the last class on this verse, and we hope to hear in future something more related to this. For now, we'll extend any other questions to Haripad Prabhuji. This is
no question, but I mean, we could see the exact Sanskrit sloka. Whether
no, not to you, Prabhuji, to other devotees, if they have any questions in the class, because audience supposed to ask the question, but the speaker asked the question and class time is almost over. Just giving a chance to the audience if any question is there, one or two will take.
Yes,
Okay, there are no questions. Then anyone wants to add anything, please come forward. Otherwise, we'll conclude the class. Haripad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please summarize whatever the answers you got from for your question.
Yes, actually it seems,
any-
yeah. So Hiranyakashipu transgressed all these rules and regulations of the scriptures, and now he is subjected to the curse. Only that logical thing coming as that curse become fructified now onward. So that is the only understanding coming. And what you told, that is also more relevant. That's something we are not understanding. Scripture thing is also good for our spiritual progress, because if we understand everything, we will become proud, and that may be hindrance in our devotional progress. So if always I think that I don't know much, so that is a safer side in devotional practice. So this kind of statements in scriptures make us humble, and so we seek the advice or guidance or suggestion from other senior Vaishnavas and others. So that actually makes us in a very nice situation, like in a humble situation, humble position. So in that respect also, it is good. And I would like to thank all of you for your comments and suggestions. So thank you so much, and we can conclude the class today.
Yes, Prabhuji, very nice class. Very, very wonderful class actually. You gave a very nice, systematic and sublime way. Always like your class. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Jai
His
Shri
Grace Haripad Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Samveda Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Jai
Jai.
Gaur Pramanande.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class.